Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is that Dysfunctional Gamer coming at you from TGN, Career Path in Video. So, more Rift action. What I want to mess with today, which I've actually been messing with quite a bit, actually, is instant adventures. Here I am on my Cleric that I made recently and have already gotten its level 18. I know it says 14, but that's because Rift implemented mentorships or whatever, so that's why it says 14, since I queued everybody else is lower level. But the great thing is that it doesn't affect the rate at which you're getting experience. You could be like level 40 or something and be doing an instant adventure in this low level zone and still get experience that's attuned to your level, which is freaking amazing. And the best part is they're essentially always going on, so you can always queue, you get awesome bonuses, tons of experience, and if you have these experience files, then it's even better. Oh, and of course, not to mention having rested. Rested is always good. But yeah, so what it does, it puts these freaking... It puts it in the quest log area, like over here, just like normal, and those are your objectives, and once you're finished, you get a bonus, and you move on to the next one, and it just keeps on going and going. And if you have to travel a far distance, it will teleport you, which I thought was pretty dang cool. And it's like a extremely efficient way to level. Now, you can basically power level by doing this, and some people might be wondering, well, you know, how are you supposed to get gear to do dungeons if you want to do dungeons? Well, the glorious thing about that is when you finish, at least at this level, I get corrupted source stones, and sometimes I get these rare equipment caches. So I open it up and I get an item that's automatically tailored to my class. Maybe not necessarily my soul, you know, my spec, but it's for my class all the time. And I didn't get to contribute much because there wasn't enough satyrs for me. As you see, it says, okay, you're done. Moving on to the next one. Collect mushrooms. And they just keep going and going and going. Now, is it exciting? No, not really. I mean, you do the same ones, so you know you run the risk of getting bored, feeling like a drone. But on the other hand, if you're wanting to quickly level and you don't want to take a ton of time, because I remember the first time I leveled in this game when it first came out, it took a while. I don't remember exactly how long it took for me to level, but it probably took a few weeks maybe, and I did it the slow, hard way, like you had to, because that was what was available. I quested, and this game is really... One issue I have with this game is the respawn rates are annoying with mobs. They come back so freaking quickly. And I remember I used to get rocked. But I mean, it was a challenge. It was still fun. But I mean, when you kill something and it comes back like 2 seconds later, it's kind of annoying. But this is an awesome way to level. And the funny thing is, I'm using a spec called Duracell spec for clerics. And of course, it doesn't take a freaking rocket science to realize, what the hell is Duracell spec? Gee, I wonder. Well, if you remember, well, then again, the Energizer Bunny, the one that keeps going and going and going and going and going and going. Obviously, but that's Energizer. But obviously, this is referring to being a battery. And the reason why they call it that is everything in your spec, you're basically constantly self-healing. So you're that efficient to where you basically don't go down. And you might be concerned with, oh, I'm gonna run out of mana. Well, you also get these abilities that allow you to channel mana and recover it. So in that regard, you're like I said, it's basically the perfect setup, the perfect leveling spec for a cleric, assuming you're playing by yourself. Now, being that I'm doing these, I really probably should have just straight up DPS freaking spec, or, you know, for tanking, which isn't really necessary with these low level mobs. But I digress. I play how I want to play, you know? I pay the money to freaking have this game and all that good shit. Oh, why was it not targeted? That's kind of fun. Yeah, somebody told me that Cleric tanks are a lot like Pally tanks in WoW, and I was like, okay, well, I did a lot of Pally tanking in WoW, so I'll give her a go, see what it's like. And I haven't exactly tanked yet, because I didn't have a shield and a good one-handed weapon. I finally bought one once I got to a high enough level, and I didn't want to tank it because I didn't have no AoE. And tanking with no AoE, that's like tanking as a warrior in WoW when you're like level 15 and you have jack shit and you can't, you know, really hold threat. Because obviously when you're tanking, threat is very important. If you and tab targeting, to hell with that shit. No. Tab targeting can suck my ass when it comes to freaking tanking. That is so damn annoying. And, you know, it's bad enough that people don't launch their threat as it is. But somebody a bard? I see notes. Maybe that's just coming from the mob. Anyway, boom, see, look at that. Rare equipment, or no, I'm sorry, uncommon equipment cache. What do I have? A dagger. Like I said, it's not always within your spec. If it gave me a two-handed hammer, or a mace, or a shield, or something, that would have been much better, but as you can tell, the stats were still tailored for my class. But, meh. Whatever. I mean, it's probably a new system, and it's probably going to get better. I'm curious what they're going to do with the next expansion, which they've already freaking announced, which I find impressive. The game is barely a year and a few months old, and already they're, you know, they've had I think 8 raids or something. Let me see here. 1, 2, yep, 8 raids. Granted, you know, like River of Souls you can't get into anymore, sadly, unless you're doing the Chronicles. That's a lot of raids. And think about how many raids World of Warcraft had back in vanilla. I think, what, 3? 4? Before Burning Crusade came out? Because what you got? You had Onyxia, you had Naxxramas, you had, what's that freaking fireplace? Molten Core, and one Blackwing Lair. I think that's all of them. So yeah, that's about 4 raids. And this has 8 already. I didn't really necessarily agree with how they did River of Souls, because it's kind of unfair. You know, like, not everybody got to experience the raid, and now a lot of people will never experience it. It is kind of fun to be able to revisit old shit. But, whatever. I mean, who knows what will happen in the Storm Legion expansion. They're releasing new souls, though, which, that excites me. Because that's even more ways to... and, yeah, people will probably make fun of me, but I hope they come up, they bring out a monk soul. Because, hell yes, I love monks. Granted, there's no fist weapons yet in this weapon, and they'd have to obviously change some animations, because they'd have to add the martial arts for it, but that would be so sweet. Oh my god, I would go excited. I'd go crazy. Crazy over the monk status. Excuse me. Where the hell are these biters? Yeah, I mean, I made a mage. Just, I mean, it's not usually my thing to play a caster class. I do it sometimes, but the freaking pyros, the pyromancers in this game are so freaking OP. My god, they hit so hard, even at low levels. It's ridiculous. It's kind of unfair, but I mean, especially if you're PvPing. I mean, not unfair if it's you doing it, but you know. Actually, now that I think about it, one reason why it took me so long to level is because I screwed around a lot. I actually PvP'd in this game too, where I very rarely ever set foot in a battleground in WoW or something. I don't know, just the PvP in that game doesn't really appeal to me. For some reason in this game it does, even though it's essentially the same thing. I think for me it was just the fact that I was, you know, I was playing Paragon Warrior, so I was able to function as a ranged warrior, which is cool. But sadly, apparently, Paragons are no good. It makes me a sad panda. But yeah, I mean, these adventures are freaking cool. I have to say, they are very cool. Fast way to level. I mean, who really likes leveling? I mean, unless you're just chillaxing or whatever, but if you just want to quickly, you know, start to experience more of the end game or something, or get into dungeons and heroics, and, or in this case, expert modes, it's always nice to have a fast way to level. I mean, obviously, you know, they're not gonna necessarily make it possible for you to level in 24 hours all the way to 50. I mean, that just would be kind of silly, but just having another option to level, and especially for DPS, because you know DPS queues, we all know they suck big fat donkey balls. I mean, you on my warrior every now and again I screw around on my defiant warrior, and I built up a tank set for him so that I could insta queue. But oh my god, the freaking DPS queues, shh, just like WoW, ridiculous, freaking ridiculous. I mean, it's like going to the dentist. No one likes going to the dentist because it freaking hurts. You know, if they stick needles in your mouth, and then later on, it hurts. I mean, like, you get a shot normally, yeah, it'll bruise a little bit, but it doesn't bother you as much, because, you know, it might be in an area that you don't necessarily use 24/7, but your mouth, you always use. Yeah, but yeah, not like I have to worry about that, because this class can tank. I'm enjoying it. I mean, the Cleric seemed like an odd class, but the tanking soul for the Cleric always interested me ever since this game came out. I just never really tried it until now. Collect crude idols. Yeah, see, nice and fast-paced, and if you look, my experience bar has risen very drastically in just this short amount of time. Why is that open? Whatever. Come on, idols. Where are you? I'm looking for you. Oh, jaw. Oh, jaw. Sometimes the objectives are kind of annoying, but you know what? Whatever. Not a big deal, as long as I get my EXP. Oh, did I find one? Yes, I did. And that mofo is You asshole. You know what? Take it. You take it. You take it in the ass. Sorry. Little outburst. He made me mad. Stabbed me in the back while I'm trying to do this shit. Yeah, I mean, I can see why they say that the paladin, or excuse me, the cleric is a lot like paladin tanking in World of Warcraft, because a lot of the abilities are similar. Granted, the warrior class has a soul that says paladin, and the abilities are very similar. It doesn't quite play necessarily the same. Like, the warrior tank does not have censure, whereas the cleric tank does. And there's a lot of self-healing, whereas the warrior doesn't really... you have like a lay on hands type spell, but it's not... That's it. Just, you can't constantly self-heal, whereas this, I even have this doctrine, very cheap, and it just uses, like, cheap on mana, and it uses one of my convictions right here, that I get when I use a life ability. And I can self-heal. I'm just a battery. Alright. Ugh. I don't... Why do they always have to default to these? Go find these things. Aw, really? Alright, I'm gonna kick your ass then, and I'm gonna take your idol. Yeah. And I just dropped something. I could probably use a desk cleaning. Yes, for shizzle. New desk even. Oh boy. So yeah, anyway, there you have it. Adventures. Awesome way to level. Clerics. Fun stuff. I'll definitely show you guys more and in the future. So do me the honor. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Show me you love me. Giggity. And I will see you all next time. Take care.